Plots for sale at Dhargal, just 5 kilometers from Mopa Airport. Plot size from 230 to 300 square meters. Starting from just 15,000 rupees per square meter. Call now.
Disability Rights Association Goa has returned to the State Disability Commissioner and requested to take the cognizance of the Smart Cities work where the places are not accessible for the person with disability and elders.
The first one being that few weeks back we had put a demand to the Directorate of Panchayats that the Gram Sabha meetings should be accessible for persons with disabilities. We have been receiving lots of complaints that Gram Sabha meetings are not accessible for persons with disabilities, as a result of which many persons with disabilities could not attend the Gram Sabha meetings and raise their issues and other disability related issues. And we are happy to announce that the Directorate of Panchayat has acceded to our request and has directed all the panchayats to ensure that the Gram Sabha meetings will be accessible for persons with disabilities with immediate effect. We request all persons with disabilities to ensure that they follow up with the respective panchayats to ensure that not only that the Gram Sabha meetings are accessible for persons with disabilities, but they attend the Gram Sabha meetings and raise issues concerning persons with disabilities. We are very surprised that even after 25 years of the old Disability Act 1995, many buildings, public buildings and public places are not yet accessible for persons with disabilities. So we request persons with disabilities to attend these Gram Sabha meetings and ensure that these places are made accessible at the earliest, and other issues, disability related issues regarding education, employment and rehabilitation of persons with disabilities are taken up immediately at the Gram Sabha meetings. The second issue is that we are not happy with the work done by the Smart City in Panjim. Lots of complaints have been received that many places are not accessible for persons with disabilities, and we are very much surprised that Smart City is doing such kind of works which is not taking persons with disabilities and elderly into account, which account for 10% of the population. So we have returned to the State Disability Commissioner and requested him to take cognizance of the issues where the places are not accessible for persons with disabilities and the elderly. The third point we would like to raise is that now the results of the 10th and 12th standard have come out. So we would like to once again enforce that no school can deny admission to a child with disability. Last year we had about 7 complaints from students with disability stating that schools were not giving them admission. We have taken it up with the State Disability Commissioner, and the State Disability Commissioner has issued orders directing the schools to give admission to the children with disabilities. So up to the 12th standard, no school can deny admission to a child with disabilities. Above 12th standard in the colleges, there is a 5% reservation for children with disabilities. And now with the new National Education Policy 2020, where the focus is on inclusive education, we are requesting the schools not to deny admission to children with disabilities, otherwise we will have to take a very strict cognizance of the same. Any child, if you are denied admission to a school, you can always bring it to our notice and we will take it up with the State Disability Commissioner. Colleges also, there is a 5% reservation for students with disabilities. All schools, all colleges have to be accessible for children with disabilities, including having an accessible washroom for wheelchair users. If any schools, any colleges are facing problems or having any issues regarding to education of children with disabilities, like the government is not sanctioning them any special educators or they are not giving them any kind of help, they can always get in touch with us and we will see that the department gives them special educators, gives them a resource room which will help them to implement inclusive education in the state of Goa. And lastly, we have started a campaign which is a Make My Neighborhood Accessible campaign. As you know, all public buildings, all public places, whether belonging to the government sector, belonging to the private sector, have to be made accessible for persons with disabilities within 5 years of the new Disability Act 2016. So 5 years have already passed, but lots of places are not yet accessible for persons with disabilities. So we have started this campaign of Make My Neighborhood Accessible, where we have tied up with the young Indians of the CII Goa to identify places which are not accessible for persons with disabilities and get them made accessible by 30th November 2023. So if any places are not accessible for people with disabilities, the general public or persons with disabilities can bring it to our notice, and we will take it up with the concerned authorities and see that the places are made accessible for persons with disabilities by 30th November 2023. If there is no accessibility for persons with disabilities, we cannot talk about education, employment or entertainment for persons with disabilities. So we have taken a very serious cognizance of accessibility for persons with disabilities. So we are requesting the general public, please let us know if places are not accessible for persons with disabilities, and we will take it up with the concerned authorities.